To make prenatal checkups easier, I rented a parking space near the hospital at a high price. But my husband's first love always cried and begged me to give her my parking space on rainy days, saying she was weak and couldn't get wet. I refused. There's a public parking lot right next door. It's just a few more steps. Why do you have to take mine? My husband was furious when he found out. Can't you be kinder? She got a high fever from the rain and almost lost both mother and child. I was puzzled. She has a car, but she insists on getting wet and taking my parking space. How is that my fault? Besides, it's a reserved parking space. I paid for it. First come, first served. My husband was silent. Sorry, I was too anxious. For the next few months, he picked me up and dropped me off every day, rain or shine. But on the day I went into labor, he drove me around for 3 hours, causing me to miss the best time for delivery. On the hospital's big screen, he coldly smiled while holding his first love. Didn't you say first come, first served? Now there are no beds available in the hospital. I want to see how long your life will have to wait. A tearing pain ripped through my abdomen. I grabbed Leo's arm. Quick. Take me to the hospital. He shook off my hand and sneered. What's the rush? Bella was 100 times more miserable than you when she had a high fever from the rain. The car suddenly stopped. I looked out the window. This wasn't the hospital, but a secluded underground parking lot. Leo, are you crazy? I'm going into labor. He didn't answer, but instead turned on the car's screen. The screen didn't show the navigation, but the hospital's surveillance footage. In the VIP delivery room I had booked, Bella was lying comfortably in bed, surrounded by several nurses taking care of her. Sister, I'm sorry, Bella said to the surveillance camera, her eyes filled with tears. I went into labor early, so I had to use your bed first. The doctor said my condition is dangerous, and I need to be hospitalized immediately. My heart sank. Did you two plan this? Leo lit a cigarette and took a leisurely puff. Beds are first come, first served, you said. Now you can just wait here. The contractions grew stronger and stronger, and I was breaking out in a cold sweat from the pain. Then take me to another hospital. Another hospital? Leo laughed. You said it yourself, I'm not paying, so why should I help you? He turned on the car's air conditioning, blowing the coldest air directly at me. I was shivering all over, but the pain in my abdomen became more and more intense. Leo, I'm carrying your child. Is that so? His eyes were cold. Bella said she saw you hugging another man. Who knows who the father of this child really is? I looked at him in shock. You're crazy. When did I ever? Enough. Leo turned around abruptly, his eyes filled with disgust. Bella has been weak and sickly since she was a child. You, a privileged young lady, not only took her parking space, but also caused her to have a high fever from the rain. Now, you should experience what pain really feels like. The car door clicked shut. Leo got out of the car, leaving me alone in the small, cold space. My water broke. The fluid flowed down my legs, staining the leather seats. On the screen, Bella showed a smug smile and waved at the camera. After a while, the car door was violently yanked open. Leo appeared with 5 black-suited bodyguards. It's too warm in the car, Leo said, looking down at me. How else can you understand the pain Bella felt in the rain? I widened my eyes. Leo, I'm going into labor. Take me to the hospital. Labor? Leo sneered. When Bella went into premature labor, did you care? Several bodyguards stepped forward and dragged me out of the car without explanation. A mixture of amniotic fluid and blood dripped onto the ground, and I was in so much pain I could barely stand. What are you doing? Let me go. Leo didn't answer, but pointed to the car wash area in the corner of the parking lot. The bodyguards dragged me towards it. I struggled desperately, but a tearing pain shot through my abdomen. Leo, I'm really going to give birth. The baby is coming out. He picked up a high-pressure water gun and aimed it at me. Clara, you've been spoiled since you were a child. You don't know what real pain is. The water jet slammed into me. The water temperature was near freezing, and the enormous force instantly knocked me to the ground. Blood mixed with amniotic fluid flowed everywhere. I curled up in a ball of pain, but 2 bodyguards held me down firmly. Bella's voice came from a screen. Leo, stop, my sister is pregnant, don't do this. You're still pleading for her. Leo was even more furious, adjusting the water gun to the maximum setting. She caused you to go into premature labor. And the baby is still in an incubator, life or death unknown. What is this pain to her? The high-pressure water jet struck again, and I was almost suffocated with pain. I was soaked to the bone, my hair stuck to my face, a pathetic mess. Enough. Please. The baby is coming out. I pleaded, trembling. But Leo's eyes were cold. Cut open her clothes. No. You can't do this. I stared in horror. A bodyguard pulled out scissors. With a ripping sound, a large gash was torn in my maternity dress. Leo. You're insane. He looked down at me. Bella was just as helpless when she had a high fever from the rain. Now it's your turn. The scissors continued to destroy my clothing. The immense sense of humiliation was more unbearable than the pain of the contractions. A sharp pain shot through my abdomen, and I reached for my pocket. Thank goodness, the microlocator was still there. This was my last hope. I quietly pressed the button. The moment the location signal was sent, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Mom and Dad would receive the signal. They would come to save me. I just had to hold on until they arrived. Clara, what are you doing? Leo's voice rang out from above. He snatched the locator from my hand and crushed it under his foot, right in front of me. Trying to call for help? You really do have a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Electronic parts scattered everywhere. I collapsed onto the cold ground. Contractions coming one after another, more intense each time. I couldn't just sit here and wait to die. I took a first aid elective in college, and my physiology wasn't bad either. I would have to rely on myself now. I regulated my breathing, trying to relax my muscles and cooperate with the rhythm of the contractions. Through the pain, I felt the baby slowly moving down. The head was already faintly visible. Leo, I'm really going to give birth, I said through gritted teeth. Maybe, just maybe, I could deliver the baby myself. Leo's face darkened instantly when he saw this. Bella's exclamation came from the screen. Leo, I had a difficult birth and hemorrhaged badly. I almost died. How can she be giving birth so easily? There was jealousy and resentment in Bella's voice. Leo nodded, then turned and waved to the person behind him. Doctor, come here. Only then did I notice that he had actually brought a private doctor. A middle-aged man in a white coat walked over, holding a syringe in his hand. She's giving birth too easily, Leo coldly ordered. Inject her with a contraction inhibitor. What? My eyes widened. Leo, you're insane. That will kill me. The doctor crouched down without hesitation, and the needle pierced my arm. No. The drug instantly entered my bloodstream, and I felt like my lower abdomen was being squeezed by iron pliers. The baby, who was about to be born, was forcefully stopped, and the immense tearing sensation made me black out. Blood began to gush out in large quantities, staining the ground red. The pain was so intense that I could barely breathe, and my body convulsed uncontrollably. Bella bled more than you, Leo said, looking down at me in the pool of blood, his tone terrifyingly calm. The drug's effects gradually wore off, and with all my strength, the baby finally slid out of my body. In the pool of blood, I trembled as I looked at the infant in my arms. His face was purplish blue, his little mouth tightly closed, without a single cry. Child. My child. I held him tight, stroking his cold little face with trembling hands. The private doctor rushed over Wangjangda Pao Guolai. Junbei Jijiu. Get out of the way. Leo pushed the doctor aside and snatched the child away. I'll do it. Bella taught me how. I watched helplessly as he took the baby. Leo followed the special first aid method Bella taught him, forcefully pressing on the baby's chest. Crack. The crisp sound of bone breaking echoed through the parking lot. The baby's ribs were broken. He stopped breathing completely. No. I let out a beastly roar and crawled desperately towards Leo. Leo. You killed our child. You animal. I snatched the baby back and held him tightly in my arms. He was so small, so soft, like a delicate doll. But he would never open his eyes again. Leo was stunned for a few seconds, then flew into a rage. It's you. It's all your fault. He kicked me away. You insisted on stealing the parking space, causing Bella to go into premature labor and become flustered. That's why she made a mistake when teaching me. You're lying. Bella did it on purpose. I held the baby tightly, tears dripping onto his cold face. She wanted to kill our child. Shut up. Leo beckoned to the bodyguards. Tie her up. Several men roughly dragged me away from the child. The ropes cut into my skin, but I felt no pain. Bella's voice came from the screen. Leo, sister is too cruel. She needs to know what true despair is. Leo nodded and turned to a few bodyguards who had just come out of prison. You guys, teach her what human suffering is. The men gave lewd smiles. I closed my eyes. It was okay. Anyway, the child was gone. What was the point of me living? Just as the dirty hands were about to touch me. Bang! The parking lot's roller shutter door was violently smashed open. Several black cars sped in, and well-trained men in black jumped out. The bodyguards were instantly subdued, and screams filled the air. The leading man rushed to me, took off his coat and wrapped it around me. Miss! I'm late. I leaned weakly against his chest, watching Leo's shocked face. Clara, who are you? Leo's voice trembled. Young miss? Bella's voice came from the screen, panicked. Leo, run. These people are gangsters. I looked at Leo coldly, my voice weak but clear. He and the woman on the screen. I want them to suffer a fate worse than death. Leo staggered back a few steps, his face pale. Impossible. Aren't you just an ordinary office worker? How could you? My second in command, Jason, sneered, looking at Leo with disdain. Mr. Leo, every penny you use comes from the young Mrs. Charity. Do you think Lou Corporation's resurrection from the brink of bankruptcy was due to your business talent? Jason mocked. It was all the young miss manipulating things behind the scenes. The color drained completely from Leo's face. No. Impossible. The villa you live in, the sports car you drive, every order the company receives, Jason said, each word distinct. Isn't every single one arranged by the young miss? Bella's voice became shrill from the screen. This is impossible. How could Clara have this kind of background? She's clearly just a... Shut up, I interrupted her. A bastard daughter dares to shout in front of me? Leo trembled all over. Clara, our 3 years of relationship. Relationship? I laughed, a laugh filled with mockery. You killed my child, and you dare to mention a relationship? The pool of blood on the ground had already congealed. My dead child still lying there. Jason, take them away. I closed my eyes. Remember, make them wish they were dead. Yes. Jason waved his hand, and several men in black immediately stepped forward to restrain Leo. Clara, you can't do this. Leo struggled. We can start over. Start over? I opened my eyes with not a trace of warmth in them. Leo, do you know what I hate the most? He was stunned. Betrayal, I said, each word distinct. Especially the betrayal of someone I treated with sincerity. Several paramedics rushed in and lifted me onto a stretcher. Before leaving, I took one last look at Leo. 3 years ago, I could let you climb from hell to heaven. Now, I can also make you fall from heaven back to hell. And never be able to climb back up. 3 days later, I woke up in a top-class ward. The pain in my body had subsided, but there was a huge emptiness in my heart. Leo wasn't there. Jason sat by the bed, with a look of guilt in his eyes that I had never seen before. Mr. Leo's parents want to see you. I nodded. Mr. Lou and Mrs. Lou pushed the door open and entered, their eyes red-rimmed. Mrs. Lou rushed up and took my hand, tears streaming down her face. Clara, it's all our fault for not raising that beast properly. Mom. I called out that title, and tears welled up instantly. For 3 years, they had treated me like their own daughter. They cared for me during holidays and festivals, and personally cooked porridge when I was sick. Mr. Lou said in a trembling voice, we're sorry to you, sorry to our grandson. The door was pushed open, and Leo walked in. His face still had the bruises left by Jason, and his eyes were full of confusion and panic. Dad, Mom, why are you here? Slap. Mrs. Lou slapped him across the face. Beast, do you know what you've done? Leo covered his face. Mom, she was malicious first. She stole Bella's parking space, causing Bella to have a premature birth and become mentally disturbed. That parking space. Mrs. Lou's voice was sharp. That was Clara's special emergency parking spot specifically for a special blood center. I was stunned. Clara has a blood clotting disorder and is prone to massive bleeding after becoming pregnant. Mrs. Lou pointed at Leo. She rented that parking space to ensure a safe delivery. Leo's face turned pale. Impossible. Do you think your career has been so successful these past few years because of your own ability? Mr. Lou closed his eyes in pain. Without Clara using her family's resources behind the scenes, your Lou Corporation would have gone bankrupt long ago. Nonsense. Leo retreated. I relied on my own talent. The first big deal you landed was a client introduced by Clara. The government project you secured was because Clara used her connections. Every loan your company took out was guaranteed by Clara. Mr. Lou listed one item after another, each word like a heavy hammer striking Leo's heart. I looked at Leo's collapsing expression and felt no joy at all, only boundless exhaustion. No. Leo shook his head. Clara is just an ordinary employee. Ordinary employee? Jason sneered. Is the heir to the Lin Group ordinary? Leo was struck by lightning. He remembered those late nights, me helping him revise proposals in the study. Remembered those dinners, the friends I introduced to him. Remembered every time before a signing I always happened to be sick and couldn't accompany him. So it turned out that I was controlling everything behind the scenes. Clara. Leo knelt in front of the bed. I didn't know, I really didn't know. Now you know. We're getting a divorce. Leo's body shook. Clara, we can start over. And I looked at him, my eyes devoid of warmth, prepared to pay for my child's life. Leo's pupils contracted, and he finally understood my determination. He killed our child. In this lifetime, I can never forgive him. I want to see Bella. Leo stared at me, eyes bloodshot, voice hoarse. I don't believe she would lie to me. Jason sneered. Mr. Leo, do you even have a choice right now? I waved my hand. Take him. A glimmer of hope flashed in Leo's eyes. We arrived at another room in the hospital. Bella was tied to a chair. Seeing Leo, tears streamed down her face. Leo, you're finally here to save me. Leo tried to rush forward, but Jason held him back. Don't be hasty. I pointed to the surveillance screen on the wall. Let's see what she said earlier. The screen lit up. In the interrogation room, Bella was negotiating with my subordinates. How much is Clara offering? I'll double it. The child in my stomach is Leo's flesh and blood. Leo's body stiffened. Miss Bella, are you sure this child is Mr. Leo's? Of course. I've been with him for 3 years. Who else could it be? Just then, the door to the interrogation room was pushed open. A strange man was shoved inside. Bella, you bitch. You dare say our child is Leo's? The man rushed up and grabbed Bella's neck. Bella panicked. Keep your voice down. Once I get Leo's money, we'll run away and live far away. Leo's face turned ashen. On the screen, Bella continued. That idiot, I told him to stand in the rain, and he did. He didn't even notice my car was parked right next to him. That parking space was the one I deliberately wanted to steal. Clara's rich, isn't she? I just wanted to disgust her. The more she protects that parking space, the more I want to take it. Who told her to steal my man? The surveillance room was silent. Leo's legs went weak, and he collapsed into a chair. Jason held out a tablet. Mr. Leo, this is the video of you resuscitating the child that day. Forensic examination shows the child died from mechanical asphyxiation and a rib puncturing the lung. You killed him with your own hands. The video began to play. Leo watched himself on the screen, forcefully pressing down on the newborn's chest. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. The child's originally weak cries grew fainter and fainter, finally falling silent completely. And he continued to press down. Stop! Leo roared, collapsing. Stop it! But the recording continued. On the screen, he performed CPR on the lifeless child for a full 10 minutes. During that time, he broke 3 of the child's ribs. 1 of them pierced the lung. I didn't mean to. Leo trembled. I wanted to save him. Save him. I stood up. Are you sure you weren't trying to make sure he died completely? Leo looked up, his eyes filled with despair. Clara, I really didn't know. Now you do. I turned to leave. Jason, let him watch the entire recording. And tell him the DNA test results for Bella's child are in. It's not his. Behind me came Leo's heart-wrenching roar. I didn't look back. He killed our child with his own hands, for a liar. In this lifetime, there's no possibility for us anymore. The moment Leo pushed open the hospital room door, I didn't stop him. He needed to see with his own eyes the woman he was obsessed with. Bella. Leo rushed to Bella, his hands trembling as he untied her. Bella threw herself into his arms, tears instantly flowing. Leo, I was so scared, she wanted to kill me. Bella, tell me, is our child really not mine? Bella's body stiffened, and then she cried even harder. Leo, don't you believe me? It's all fake. Fake. Leo stared at her with red eyes. Who is that man? I don't know him. Clara must have bribed him. Bella grabbed Leo's hand. I've only ever loved you. A glimmer of hope flashed in Leo's eyes. I clapped my hands, and the man was brought in. Bella, you bitch. The man roared at her as soon as he entered. When are you going to stop pretending? Bella's face turned instantly pale. I slept with you for 3 years. Don't you think I know if this child is mine? Leo, don't listen to his nonsense. Bella waved her hands frantically. The man sneered. 3 months ago at the hotel, you told me to pretend to be your ex-boyfriend to provoke Leo. And you said that once we got his money, we would run away together. Leo's face completely paled. Enough. He pushed Bella away, the love in his eyes completely gone. Bella fell to the ground, still wanting to explain. Leo had already turned and left. Take her away. I got up and followed Leo. He went to the underground parking lot, the very place where I had once struggled in pain. Tie her to that pillar. Bella was dragged over, struggling desperately. Leo, you can't do this to me. Leo picked up a high-pressure water gun and aimed it at her. Didn't you say your body was weak and you couldn't be rained on? Leo. Bella screamed. I'm pregnant. Yes, with a bastard. Leo pressed the switch. The icy water column slammed into Bella's body. She struggled painfully like I had, water splashing everywhere. Stop. Please stop. Leo turned a deaf ear. The water flow became faster and faster, and Bella's voice became weaker and weaker. She began to convulse, just like I had that day. Bloody water flowed from between her legs, mixing with the puddles on the ground. My child. Bella groaned in pain. Now you know what pain is. Leo sneered. Clara was 100 times more painful than you were. Leo, I was wrong. I was really wrong. Leo turned off the water gun and walked to her. Wrong. He crouched down and grabbed her chin. Do you even remember why Clara had a premature birth? Bella trembled. You took her parking space, deliberately provoking her. You acted weak, making me treat her with cold violence. You schemed everything and killed our child. With each word, Leo's hand tightened. Bella's face turned purple, and her eyes bulged. Now, I'm going to make you repay it 100-fold. Leo let go of her hand, and Bella collapsed to the ground. He turned to look at me. Clara, what else do you want to do? I walked towards the man. I heard you love money? The man nodded like a pestle. Yes, yes, yes. Then are you willing to do anything for money? Willing. I took out a check. 10 million on the condition that. I whispered a few words in his ear. The man's eyes lit up. No problem. He walked towards Bella, his eyes full of greed. Bella, since things have been exposed, then stop pretending. Bella looked at him in horror. What are you going to do? Leo doesn't want you anymore, but I still do. The man grinned. Anyway, the child is mine, we might as well settle the accounts for these 3 years. No. Help. Bella's screams echoed in the parking lot. I watched all this with a blank expression. Leo stood next to me, his fists clenched. Clara, is that enough? He asked. I shook my head. Not enough. Let them tear each other apart. I want to see who is more ruthless. Bella's heart-wrenching screams echoed in the parking lot. The man's eyes were bloodshot, and his fists rained down on her. You bitch. You got me caught. Bella curled up in a corner, blood trickling from her lips. Stop hitting me. I've been serving you for 3 years, and now you're turning your back on me? The man grabbed her neck. Since Leo doesn't want you, I'll take you away. Bella's eyes were filled with terror as she desperately shook her head. Leo stood beside me, watching everything with empty eyes. Clara, is it enough? I didn't answer. Bella suddenly grabbed a shard of glass from the ground and stabbed the man with it. The man screamed, and blood splattered everywhere. You're looking for death. He snatched the glass away and slashed at her with it. Bella's eyes widened as she slowly fell to the ground. In the pool of blood, she reached out as if trying to grab something. Leo rushed over and knelt beside her. Bella. A sarcastic smile appeared on Bella's lips. Leo. Our child. Really is yours. Before she could finish, her eyes closed. Leo held her corpse and wept bitterly. I turned and left. A week later, the Lu Corporation went bankrupt. I withdrew all my funds, and those partners who once relied on me immediately turned against me. Leo was burdened with $30 million in debt and faced charges of intentional homicide. He knelt outside my house every day, rain or shine. Clara, please see me. I beg you. I looked down from the upstairs window. He was a shadow of his former self. My assistant asked me, Madam, should we call the police? No. I packed my luggage. I needed to take over the family business. There were broader horizons waiting for me abroad. There was nothing worth staying for here. Leo heard that I was going abroad and pounded on the door like a madman. Clara, you can't leave. We still have a chance. I'll change. I'll do anything you say. The security guards dragged him away. He screamed my name, his voice tearing through the night sky. Before boarding the plane, I took one last look at the city. As the plane soared into the clouds, I received a phone call. Miss Lynn, Mr. Leo is dead. The voice on the other end was calm. He was found in the underground parking lot. There was a lot of blood at the scene. He injected himself with uterine contraction inhibitors, wanting to experience your pain at the time. He was also clutching a photo of you in his hand. I looked at the sea of clouds outside the window and said calmly, I understand. Then I hung up the phone. A flight attendant walked over. Madam, do you need anything? A glass of champagne. I raised my glass to the sunlight outside the window. A toast to the past. This glass to my dead child. This glass to my lost youth. From now on, the name Clara will resonate throughout the business world. And Leo was just a speck of dust on my path through life. The plane pierced through the clouds, flying towards a new country. I closed my eyes, a relieved smile on my lips. 5 years later, I sat in the top-floor conference room of a multinational corporation headquarters, my fingertips lightly tapping on a merger proposal. A premium of 3%. Within 3 days, I want to see a report on a successful acquisition. My voice wasn't loud, but it silenced the entire conference room. The executives present were as quiet as cicadas in winter, and no one dared to object. Now, I am the helmsman of the Lin family, the ice queen feared by everyone in the business world. After the meeting, Jason pushed open the door and came in, his expression somewhat complicated. Miss Lin, Leo's parents are here. My hand flipping through the documents paused. I won't see them. It's been 5 years, and I thought I would never hear those 2 names again. They're waiting in the lobby downstairs and have been waiting for 8 hours, Jason added. They said if you don't see them, they'll keep waiting. I chuckled. Then let them wait. Jason didn't leave. He took a package from behind him and gently placed it on the table. The package was opened, and inside was a small baby blanket, the blue one I had personally chosen, with a clumsy and embroidered on it. My heart felt like it was being clenched by an invisible hand, and my breathing suddenly hitched. That was what I prepared for my child. And for peace. They said this is the only thing you left behind. I eventually met them. At a coffee shop near the company, through a large floor-to-ceiling window, I saw the couple who once treated me like their own daughter. They looked much older, their hair gray, their backs hunched, and their faces etched with the marks of time. When she saw me, Mrs. Lu burst into tears. She wanted to come forward and take my hand, but Mr. Lu stopped her. They didn't beg me, didn't apologize, just silently pushed a locked metal box in front of me. Clara, this is what Leo left behind, Mr. Lu's voice was terribly hoarse. He said to only look at it when you're ready. We're not here today to ask for your forgiveness, Mrs. Lu said, wiping away her tears. We just Wanted to give you this. Then, we'll go back to our hometown and never bother you again. They stood up, bowed deeply to me, and then left hobbling. From beginning to end, I didn't say a word. Back in the empty penthouse apartment, I opened the dusty metal box. There was no money, no suicide note, only a thick diary. I opened the first page. The handwriting was Leo's, and the time was the first year he and I were married. I always felt unworthy of Clara. She was so good, so perfect. And me? Just the son of a bankrupt company owner. The look in her eyes was always encouraging, but I always felt it was pity. Today she introduced me to another big client. Everyone in the company says I'm capable, but only I know, I'm just an appendage to her. This feeling is suffocating me. I'm starting to suspect, did she know about my predicament all along, and deliberately arranged everything, just to watch me perform like a clown in front of her? Page after page turned, filled with his inferiority, suspicion and twisted struggles. He suspected my identity long ago, but didn't dare to confirm it. He lived in the fairy tale I wove for him, enjoying it while suffering from it. Until Bella appeared. In the latter half of the diary, the handwriting became scrawled and frantic. Bella is different from her. Bella needs me, admires me. In front of her, I am a real man, not a discarded waste. Why did Clara have to fight for that parking space? She has everything. Why does she have to fight me for this little bit of pitiful self-esteem? She must be doing it on purpose. She wants to tell me that even in something this small, she can easily control me. The last page of the diary was written in that underground parking garage. There were dried bloodstains on the paper. She's right, I killed my child. I killed him with my own hands. How can someone like me deserve to have a child? I want to know how much pain she was in then. The doctor said that contraction inhibitors cause hellish tearing sensations. Good, then let me go to hell. Clara, if this can be considered my final redemption, please. Forget me. The diary slipped from my hands. I didn't cry. I just felt it was absurd. I once thought it was a meticulously planned betrayal, a vicious revenge. In the end, it was just a weak person crushed by their own pride, leading to a mad self-destruction. It wasn't that he didn't love me. It was that he loved me too much, loved me to the point of being burned by my light, and finally chose to plunge into another shadow to prove his existence. And my child became the most innocent victim in this tragic farce. I walked to the window, looking at the myriad of lights in the city. I picked up the diary and the small blue blanket, and walked onto the roof. I lit a corner of the diary with a lighter. The flames instantly soared, engulfing the twisted words and painful past. The firelight reflected on my face, but I felt no warmth. I let go, letting the blue blanket fall from the height, like a broken-winged butterfly, disappearing into the deep night. I didn't forgive. And there was no need to forgive. It was just that the hatred that had sustained me for 5 years, at this moment, vanished along with the ashes and the blanket. The evening breeze stirred my long hair. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath of the cold air. From now on, I am just Clara. Living for myself.